There's a certain kind of person who doesn't always fit easily into the noise of the world. Not because they can't, because they won't. They've learned something most people spend their entire lives avoiding. That being alone isn't the same as being lonely. And once you understand that distinction, once you truly feel it in your bones, you become someone the world doesn't quite know what to do with. Picture the family gathering. Holidays, reunions, weddings. There's always chaos, isn't there? Conversations layering on top of each other, laughter that feels performative, drama simmering just below the surface. And somewhere in all of that noise, there's one person who's positioned themselves just outside of it. Not dramatically, not making a statement, just apart. They're on the porch with coffee while everyone else crowds the living room. They're in the corner with a book while others work the room. They'll help in the kitchen, sure, but they're not participating in the gossip, not feeding the family drama machine. And family members notice. Of course they notice. Why are you so quiet? Come join us. Don't be so serious. But here's what's fascinating. This person doesn't seem bothered by being apart. If anything, they seem content, almost amused by the chaos they're actively choosing not to participate in. Now, picture two coworkers. Similar age, similar jobs, similar lives on paper. But their weekends couldn't be more different. The first one's social media is packed every weekend. Brunches with the girls, rooftop parties, concerts, bar crawls, trips to wherever's trending. Living their best life, right? Constant photos, constant plans, constant proof of a full social calendar. The second person's weekend looks completely different. Gym at odd hours when it's empty, farmer's market alone, picking out vegetables with actual intention, cooking elaborate meals for one, reading in parks, hiking solo trails where the only sound is their own breathing. And the social one keeps inviting them out, genuinely confused why anyone would waste weekends alone. Makes concerned comments. Don't you get lonely? You should get out more. You're missing out. But here's what nobody wants to acknowledge. Come Monday morning, the solo person walks in energized, clear-eyed, genuinely restored. The social one? Exhausted. Already talking about needing next weekend to recover from this weekend. Already planning the next distraction from the distraction. And if you've ever been that person who chose the quiet weekend, who felt the pressure to justify why you weren't out there performing your social life for an audience, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Stay with me, because this is where it gets interesting. People who don't mind being alone aren't antisocial. They're not broken, they're not depressed, they're not running from connection. They're selective. And that selectivity, that ability to be genuinely okay without constant external validation, without needing their worth reflected back through other people's attention, that makes them dangerous. Not in a violent way. Dangerous to anyone who's used to manipulating through isolation threats, to anyone who operates through social pressure, to anyone who mistakes loneliness for weakness. Psychologists call this high autonomous functioning. It's the ability to maintain your sense of self, your emotional stability, your internal compass without constant external input. Most people are terrified of silence because silence means confronting themselves. It means sitting with their thoughts, their choices, their unresolved feelings. So they fill every moment. Notifications, conversations, plans, noise, anything to avoid that confrontation. But people who are comfortable alone, they've already done that work. They've sat in the silence, they've faced what's there, and they've made peace with it. Here's what nobody tells you about people like this. Their walls are intentional, not because they're antisocial or broken or difficult, but because the walls work. The walls keep them safe. They've learned, often through painful experience, that not everyone deserves access, that some people drain more than they give, that protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's survival. And once you've built those walls carefully, brick by brick, You become very particular about who gets invited inside. Think about it. When you're comfortable being alone, you stop tolerating things you used to accept. You stop answering calls from people who only reach out when they need something. You stop going to gatherings that leave you feeling emptier than when you arrived. You stop performing emotional labor for people who wouldn't do the same for you. Not out of bitterness, not out of anger, out of clarity. Because when you're not desperate for connection, you can see connection clearly. You can distinguish between people who genuinely care and people who just don't want to see you succeed in your solitude. And here's where everyone gets it twisted. People assume that if you're okay alone, you must not want connection. But that's not it at all. It's that you've learned the difference between connection and dependency, between intimacy and invasion, between being known and being consumed. You've learned that real connection doesn't demand constant availability, that authentic relationships can breathe, that the people worth having in your life are the ones who respect your need for space instead of punishing you for it. Let me tell you what it's like to be this person. You go to the family gathering and you're labeled as standoffish. You turn down weekend plans and people assume you're depressed. You don't overshare at work and suddenly you're mysterious, untrustworthy. You set boundaries and you're called cold. You prioritize your own peace and you're accused of not caring. The world has 1,000 labels for people who are comfortable in their own company. Most of them are wrong. All of them are projections. Because here's the truth that makes people uncomfortable. Someone who doesn't need you is someone you can't control. You can't manipulate someone through loneliness if they're not afraid of being alone. You can't guilt them into situations they don't want to be in. You can't use social pressure to make them conform. You can't threaten them with isolation because isolation isn't a threat to them. It's a preference. That's not coldness, that's power. The power to choose what and who gets access to your time, your energy, your inner world. Research shows that people with high levels of autonomous functioning report not just greater life satisfaction, but greater relationship satisfaction. Because when you're not clinging to people out of fear of being alone, when you're choosing connection from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, those connections become deeper, more authentic, more sustainable. You're not settling, you're not tolerating, you're not performing. You're genuinely choosing. And the people in your life know they're there because you want them there, not because you need them there. That distinction changes everything. If this is resonating with you, if you're recognizing the quiet strength in yourself or someone you know, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Because content like this, the kind that actually explores emotional independence and quiet power, instead of just the noise and performance of constant availability, gets buried under algorithms that prioritize distraction over depth. Your subscription tells the algorithm that this clarity matters, that honest conversations about the strength of being alone deserve to be seen. So subscribe. Help me keep making videos that understand you instead of trying to fix you. But let me be clear about something. This isn't about isolation. This isn't about cutting everyone off and declaring yourself above human connection. Solitude as a strength comes from choice, not from fear. If you're alone because you're terrified of rejection, because you've been hurt and you're hiding, because you're convinced no one could possibly understand you, that's not strength. That's protection that's calcified into a prison. The difference is, are you running from people or are you running toward yourself? Are you avoiding connection or are you being selective about it? So if you're someone who genuinely doesn't mind being alone, who can sit in silence without spiraling, who can spend a weekend with just yourself and come out stronger, know this, you're not missing out. You're not broken. You're not cold or difficult or too much or too little. You've learned something profound that most people avoid their entire lives. You've learned that your own company is enough, that validation doesn't have to come from outside, that peace is an inside job, and that the right people, the real people, won't punish you for that. They'll respect it. Because at the end of the day, being comfortable alone isn't about rejecting the world. It's about refusing to lose yourself in it. It's about building a foundation inside yourself that's so solid, so stable, that you don't need constant external reinforcement to know who you are. You're not a late bloomer waiting for life to start when someone else arrives. You're not incomplete. You're whole, singular, self-sufficient in the most beautiful way. And maybe that's what makes people uncomfortable. Not that you're alone, but that you're okay with it. That you found something in the silence that most people spend their lives running from. And once you find it, once you truly feel it, no amount of noise can pull you back.